Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to step back into a world untouched by time? Imagine you step carefully through a dim forest clearing, the air thick with the green scent of moss and damp earth. Early morning mist lingers between ancient pines whose branches stretch wide overhead. There is a hush, broken only by distant dripping water, dew sliding slowly off needle-covered branches, tumbling onto soft undergrowth. The ground beneath your feet is spongy, cushioned by fallen leaves and the ghostly traces of footprints long erased. Far off, in a meadow bordered by ragged hills, you hear the low rumble of heavy breathing. A herd of great beasts moves across the glade, enormous shapes, their fur thick, silhouettes heavy against the pale dawn light. These are mammoths, mighty and ponderous, their tusks arching like curved ivory gates, trunks swinging gently as they forage. Every step they take presses the soft ground, leaves trembling in their wake. Their breath clouds in the cool air, reminding you of the deep, ancient cold that covers this land. You drift closer, not with fear, but with awe. The mammoths are familiar to you, part of this world. Their presence feels primal, a living pulse in a world where both humans and beasts must survive. And beside them, perhaps not far beyond, the undergrowth hides other creatures, silent stalkers who prowl the twilight edges. The shadow of a cave lion padding through long grass, the distant echo of a giant sloth shifting heavy weight among trees. In that world, humans did not walk upright and alone. You are part of a small band, moving softly, deliberately. You know the patterns of wind and wood. You listen for tusks scraping bark, trunks bending trees, claws tearing undergrowth. Every sound, every movement holds meaning. Some days the mammoths are too large, too dangerous. Hunters know the risk. To bring down a beast weighing several tons, a mammoth or mastodon, takes more than brute strength. It demands strategy, patience, cooperation. In many places humans stood watch. They scouted, read the slopes and marshes where beasts like to graze, waited near muddy pits or soft ground where a heavy animal could get trapped. In marshy zones, perhaps near a lake or shallow wetland, a trapped adult or a confused juvenile could be vulnerable. Once the beast's weight sank into the soft earth, hunters would move in. Tusks and bones of such creatures later served as more than food. They became building materials for shelters. Entire dwellings have been discovered made from mammoth bones and tusks, suggesting people sometimes lingered for long spans, shaping a world from giant bones. Other times, the hunt was more active. In North America, some groups used stone tools tipped with razor-sharp points, the legendary Clovis point. But recent research suggests these might not have been thrown as spears. Instead, hunters planted these weapons in the ground at an angle, positioning them like silent stakes. When a mammoth or mastodon charged, driven by fear, confusion, or provocation, the animal would impale itself on the thrusting spear. This pike hunting technique would concentrate the beast's own weight and momentum into a lethal blow, more powerful than any human thrust or throw alone. Imagine standing among tall grasses, the air cold and still. You cling to the ground, breath slow and steady, waiting. In the hush you glimpse massive form through swirling fog, a gentle giant crossing the clearing. Your heart beats. Somewhere buried in the earth, you know a stone point juts upward. You hold your breath. The mammoth draws near. Then, a thunderous thud as great leg meets wooden shaft. The beast recoils and crashes. The forest reels. You draw closer, every sense alert. There is danger, but there is also the possibility of survival, sustenance, shelter. Because when megafauna died, they did not vanish into emptiness. Their bodies, enormous reserves of meat and fat, provided energy. Their bones and tusks provided shelter, tools, warmth. In some of the dwelling sites archaeologists discovered on the East European plain, more than 70 bone-based huts. The circular bases use large bones as support, tusks as entry arches, and roofs possibly draped with skins and held up by bone beams. These were not ephemeral shelters, but carefully built, reused dwellings, suggesting repeated or prolonged use. On days that were calm and clear, the group might sit around low fires built beneath a canopy of tusks overhead. The firelight patching flickered on ivory, casting long shadows, crackling softly. Outside, a night wind whispered through distant pines. Inside, the warmth of carcass smoke mingled with roasted meat scent. The world felt fragile and vast at once, built on bones, grounded by survival, shaped by ambition. Over time, humans learned more. Patterns of movement, migration, seasonal hunts, knowledge of terrain. A memory replaced fear. The giants became part of the human story. Not just prey or threat, but raw material for life. Food, shelter, fuel, tools. The land beneath giant feet became home to humans, even as the giants still roamed. In South America, a slightly different scene unfolds. There, in sweeping plains and open savannas, humans walked among massive beasts like giant ground sloths and elephant like proboscideans. Recent excavations across sites in Argentina, Chile, and Uruguay reveal some surprising things. In many of these locations where bones and artifacts remain, the butchered remains of now extinct megafauna outnumber those of smaller prey by a large margin. In 15 out of 20 studied sites, the vast majority of cut and percussion-marked bones belong to those giants. In 13 of those sites, more than 80% of all remains come from now extinct megafauna. These are not isolated instances. The consistency across many sites, from grasslands to wetlands, suggests that hunting or scavenging giant sloths, mastodons, and giant horses was not peripheral but central to many Pleistocene human diets and survival strategies. The energetic payoff from a single kill could sustain a group for extended periods, meat for many meals, fat for energy, bone for tools and structure. There are even rarer traces that show direct interactions between humans and giant sloths beyond butchering. At a site in what is now southern New Mexico, fossilized footprints were discovered. Human footprints embedded within the much larger tracks of a ground sloth, suggesting a human followed in the beast's footsteps, perhaps stalking it, perhaps waiting for the right moment to strike. Picture that scene. The morning light hazy, soft, the ground firm but cracked. You place one foot gently where the sloth had stepped moments before. Silence around you. Only the faint rustle of distant vegetation stirred by a slight wind. The sloth, enormous and slow, had plodded ahead. You follow, tracking each shift. That alone carries risk. A startled sloth might lash its massive claws out, swinging thick arms and thick flesh. But you move with calm urgency, focused, patient, respectful. Because the world demands respect. Survival in the Age of Giants was never about reckless violence, but cautious reverence. One misstep, a wrong angle, a misjudged pace, could mean death under a sloth's claw or a mammoth's crushing foot. Yet humans persisted. They walked through forests and plains, adapted to climate swings that shifted grasses to forests, marshes to wetlands, dry tundra to shrubby woodlands. They watched the seasons, learned migration patterns of herds, knew the places where giants drank and fed. They kept fire going, fire that repelled predators, cooked meat, warmed bodies, carried faint smoke trails across the driftwood nights. They shared stories. Though we cannot hear their voices, the traces remain. Carvings of mammoths on ivory, engravings in caves, carved bone ivory figures, art that echoed their world. For many years, study of cave art revealed that the mammoth ranked among the most depicted animals of the Ice Age, second only to horses and bison. Over 500 recognizable depictions have been found on cave walls, on carved plaques, on tusk shards and bone fragments. These images speak softly across millennia, not as evidence of conquest, but as memory. The beasts were enormous, dangerous, magnificent, worthy of attention, perhaps even reverence. The hands that carved, painted, engraved, they paused, breathed, observed. They captured their world not in portrait or trophy, but in quiet observation and deep respect. Still, the age of giants was changing. Slowly, in the shifts of climate, the warming of the planet after glaciation. Grasslands giving way to shrublands, wetlands drying, forests rising in the footprints of tundra. The giant beasts, mammoths, mastodons, giant sloths, found it harder to roam, harder to find the grasses and water they needed. Their populations shrank, their herds thinned. Where once entire valleys rang with the low trumpeting of mammoths, silence began to creep in. At the same time, humans pressed on. New hunting tools, new strategies, new patterns of movement. Where once enormous beasts roamed, humans still walked, lighter, faster, more adaptable. They began to hunt more diverse prey, smaller mammals, birds, fish, animals that thrived in the changing ecosystems. Their diets diversified, their tools changed. In South America, for example, after the extinction of giant megafauna, the distinctive fishtail point, used for big game hunting, disappears, replaced by smaller projectile points better suited for smaller prey. You walk now through a landscape half remembered. The echo of tusks in tall grass, heavy footfalls in distant meadows. Those giants are fading from the world. The forest has softened, trees have grown, their roots spreading deep into soil once compressed by mammoth feet. River courses have shifted. The marshes drained, the wetlands receded, replaced by new groves of birch and alder. The air smells different, warmer, greener, tinged with decay and renewal. Yet life persists. Around a modest fire stoked with brushwood, you sit with your companions. The warmth touches your face. Embers drift upward into the dark canopy overhead. Small animals, rabbits, hares, fish from nearby streams, sizzle as they roast. You listen to their crackle, to the slow snap of wood, to the breath of wind through leaves. Your own breath comes easy, steady. You think of the mammoths and giant sloths, their heavy bones now buried deep in earth, their tusks removed, carved into tools, their hides dried or used to cover shelters, their bodies vanished but not wasted. They live on in the structure of your life. You remember their weight, their presence, the vast world they made real. The world has changed, but you adapt. You move through forests and plains, knowing the rhythms of seasons, the thawing of snow, the rise of spring streams, the turning of leaves, the call of migrating birds overhead. You know the taste of marrow on your tongue, the sharp edge of flint against bone, the smell of damp earth after rain, the shock of cold air against your skin when the wind sweeps through highlands. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the fire to the distant rushing of water, to the slow hum of night insects, subtle, constant, life continuing. You remember the giants, the threats, the hunts, but more than that, you remember survival, the slow weaving of human adaptation, the shifting tapestry of world and people, the turn from giant beasts to smaller prey, to forests and streams, to new ways of living. Some nights you dream of mammoths. In those dreams, you walk with them across frozen plains under a violet sky. Their breath rises in clouds. Their tusks arch toward the horizon. And in the dream, you don't fear them. You're part of their world. You watch them graze. You follow their tracks. You learn the patterns of their movement. Maybe you walk among their bones, shaping them into shelter, or carve the ivory into tools and art. And even as the giants fade, their memory stays. In the cracks of old bones pressed into soil, in scattered ivory shards, in paintings on cave walls where soft torchlight once flickered. In your heart you carry the echo of their footfalls, heavy, slow, comforting in their constancy. The fire beside you dims, embers drift upward, glowing softly, then fading. The star's unwelcome peers through the canopy, cold and distant. You inhale slowly. The night air tastes of ash, damp wood, moss. Exhale. The world seems vast, old, alive, full of stories, of ghosts and living things, of endings and beginnings. But the story does not end here. The forest remains. The streams still flow. Life continues, reshaped, renewed. Where giant sloths once lazed, deer now prowl. Where mammoths once thundered, elk graze quietly. The land has begun again. You rise softly. You step away from the fire, leaving behind only shadows and memory. The night wraps around you like a soft cloak, each breath, each step familiar. The ground beneath your feet is alive with small creatures, rustling leaves, the gentle stir of life, and you walk, onward, steady, human, adaptable, resilient, remembering the giants not as prey, not just as beasts, but as part of a world that shaped you, that shaped your ancestors. Your companions stir quietly, shifting by vestiges of what once was. The air is cool, still. The forest seems to exhale, slow and deep, as if remembering too. Above, the moon drifts, pale and serene. The stars stand guard. The night flows, calm, endless, patient. In this world, you live, you survive, you remember. There is more ahead, new seasons, new challenges, new ways of walking, hunting, living. But for now, the quiet, the night, the steady pulse of life, and the memory of giants long gone, alive still in bone, in land, in quiet breath. You breathe in, hold, breathe out. Let the world settle around you, ancient and enduring. Your journey continues. The soft murmur of the forest wraps around you as you step deeper into the ancient woods. The earth beneath your feet cool and steady, offering its ancient support. The canopy above stretches wide, an intricate latticework of leaves that catches the dim light of the moon. The air is thick with moisture, and each inhalation carries the scent of pine resin, damp soil, and the faintest trace of faraway fire. The quiet of this world is profound, disturbed only by the occasional rustle of a small creature in the undergrowth. The world feels ancient here, as though time itself has slowed its pace in reverence to the land and all that it has witnessed. You move with careful steps, the steady rhythm of your breath matching the pulse of the earth. This is your world now, a world where the giants no longer roam, but their echoes linger in every tree, every stone, every shadow. Here, life has adapted, shifting from one phase to the next, like the seasons themselves, and you are part of that ongoing cycle, learning to survive, to thrive in the changing landscape. As you walk through the forest, you think back to the time before, when the mammoths roamed the wide plains, their massive forms blotting out the horizon, their low calls echoing through the air like the rumble of distant thunder. You can almost hear the ground shake beneath their weight, the thundering beat of their feet reverberating through the earth, a sound that once carried for miles. That was a time of both beauty and danger, a time of giants and the humans who shared the land with them. But the giants are gone now. There, massive forms no longer silhouetted against the rising sun. Still, in the silence of this night, you can feel them in the air. Perhaps they will never truly leave. The remnants of their existence are all around you. In the bones you find scattered in the earth, in the tusks carved into tools and weapons, in the very fabric of the world they left behind. The land remembers them, and you too remember them, carrying their presence in your mind as you walk the path that they once trod. The stars overhead glisten in the dark, scattered across the vast, deep blackness like shards of silver in a velvet sea. The moon casts a pale light through the treetops, dappling the forest floor in soft, shifting patterns. You pause for a moment, letting the beauty of the night fill your senses. There is a calmness here, a peace that comes with the realization that you are part of something much older than yourself, something that has endured through centuries, through changes too vast to fully understand. And yet, you have found your place in it, moving silently through the forest, a small but essential part of the great dance of life. As you continue onward, the sound of your footsteps muffled by the dense undergrowth, you come across a clearing. The air in this space feels different, thinner, as though the forest itself has given way to something greater, something older. In the center of the clearing there is a large stone, worn smooth by time, its surface etched with patterns that seem to shift in the flickering light. You know what this is. A place of significance, a marker left by those who came before you. Perhaps it was used in rituals, or as a boundary marker, or simply as a place where people came to sit in quiet reflection. Whatever its purpose, it remains here, untouched by the passage of time, a silent witness to the world's transformations. You sit on the stone, your body sinking slightly into its cool surface, the stone's texture rough against your skin. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the sounds of the night around you, the rustle of leaves, the occasional distant hoot of an owl, the whisper of the wind through the trees. The world seems to hold its breath, waiting. And then, in the stillness, you hear it. The faintest sound, a crackling from somewhere deep in the forest. At first you think it's the wind shifting through the branches, but then you hear it again. A steady rustling, growing louder, closer. You rise, your senses heightened. Something is moving through the underbrush, something large. Your heart quickens, and you strain to listen. The rustling grows louder still, now accompanied by the unmistakable sound of heavy footfalls. You move to the edge of the clearing, your feet light on the ground, your body tensed and alert. Then, through the trees, you see it. A great shape, a shadow moving against the dark backdrop of the forest. It is enormous, a hulking form moving slowly through the trees. Its heavy, lumbering steps reverberate in the ground beneath you, and you feel the vibrations travel up your spine. The creature's body is covered in thick fur, a dark, matted pelt that looks almost black under the moonlight. It pauses for a moment, sniffing the air, its ears flicking in your direction. It is a mammoth, a remnant of a time-long past. You can see its massive tusks sweeping upward, curving like ancient ivory scythes. The creature seems unaware of your presence, moving with a quiet grace that belies its enormous size. The sound of its steps is almost hypnotic, a slow, steady rhythm that echoes through the forest like the heartbeat of the land itself. You remain motionless, your breath steady, your senses sharp. You watch the mammoth, mesmerized by its beauty and power. It moves deeper into the forest, its massive body vanishing into the shadows, and for a moment all is still again. The sounds of the forest return to their steady, natural rhythm, as though the mammoth's presence had been nothing more than a fleeting dream. But the experience lingers with you, the image of that great creature etched in your mind. It is a reminder that, while the giants may be gone, their legacy is far from forgotten. The world you live in now is different, reshaped by time, by the rise and fall of these great beasts. And yet, in moments like this, when the wind shifts and the forest holds its breath, it is as if the giants still walk the earth, not as creatures of flesh and blood, but as shadows, memories, echoes of a time when they ruled the land. As you sit back on the stone, the quiet of the night settling around you once more, you think about what has come before: the mammoth, the sloth, the cave lion. These creatures were once part of the landscape, not just as predators or prey, but as symbols of a world that was wild, untamed, full of possibility and danger. They shaped the lives of those who lived alongside them, creating a world where survival was not guaranteed, but always fought for. And yet, even in the face of such enormous odds, humans persevered. They adapted, they learned, and they thrived. The mammoths were hunted and scavenged, but they were also respected, revered, woven into the fabric of human culture. They were more than just animals. They were part of the human story, their bones and tusks turned into tools, their lives preserved in art and myth. The forest around you seems to breathe deeper now, its ancient roots stretching farther into the earth, connecting you to everything that has come before. The mammoth, the lion, the sloth, they are no longer with you, but they have left their mark. The bones you find scattered in the underbrush are not just remnants of beasts. They are the foundation of life, the building blocks of the world that has come to be. You rise from the stone, your body moving smoothly, guided by the ancient rhythms of this world. The forest stretches out before you, full of secrets and stories waiting to be discovered. You walk on, moving deeper into the wilderness, a part of this vast, ever-changing land. The giants may be gone, but their legacy lives on, in the earth beneath your feet, in the trees that sway overhead, in the quiet strength of the world around you. The night continues to unfold, the moon now higher in the sky, casting long silver beams through the branches above. The air is crisp, and the scent of pine and earth fills your lungs. The sounds of the forest surround you, the wind, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl. Every sound is a reminder of the living, breathing world that exists around you. And in the quiet, you feel the presence of the giants once again. For a moment it is as if time has stood still, as if the world of mammoths, lions, and sloths still exists alongside you. And in this stillness, you realize that their story is not one of the past, but one that is still being written, every day, in the land, in the air, and in the hearts of those who walk it. You continue on, the path ahead uncertain, but full of possibility. The forest stretches before you, vast and untamed, its secrets waiting to be discovered. And as you move forward, you carry with you the memory of giants, not as a distant, fading past, but as a living, breathing part of the world you now walk. The path before you seems to stretch endlessly, yet the world is alive with whispers, every sound carrying with it the ancient rhythms of nature. The trees tower above you, their gnarled roots entwined deep into the soil, supporting a vast network of life. Every leaf that rustles, every branch that creaks, feels as though it has witnessed the passing of countless seasons. The forest is a library of time, each tree, each stone, a chapter in the long history of this land. You tread lightly, mindful of every step. The earth beneath you is soft and yielding, offering itself to you as though it too is part of this ancient dance. Your feet sink slightly into the mossy floor, each step quiet, almost reverent. You move with purpose, but also with the ease that comes from familiarity. This land, wild as it may be, feels as though it has always been your home. Around you, the forest seems to breathe. The air is thick with the scent of pine and earth, the faintest trace of dew on the leaves and ferns. The sound of wind in the treetops is constant, but its rhythm shifts, as though the forest itself is speaking to you, urging you forward. The shadows grow longer as the sun sinks lower, the golden light turning everything it touches into a softer, gentler version of itself. The forest seems to slow with the dying light, as if it too is preparing for the coming night. You walk with purpose, yet there's a certain peace in the way you move. The moment feels suspended, as though time itself has slowed to match your pace. The gentle murmur of the forest, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the occasional chirp of a distant bird or the rustling of small animals in the underbrush, all weave together to create a symphony that accompanies your steps. As you continue onward, the land begins to change. The trees thin out, their trunks growing smaller and more spaced apart. The undergrowth gives way to a wider, open space where the ground is dotted with tall grasses that sway in the breeze. The air here smells different, a mix of damp earth and wildflowers, the kind of fragrance that speaks of a world untouched by the hand of civilization. The sunlight is softer here, filtering through the tall grasses and casting long, dappled shadows across the ground. It feels like you've stepped into a different world, one that exists on the cusp of dawn and dusk, where the lines between reality and memory blur. You stop for a moment, taking in the landscape. The vast expanse of grass stretches before you, the horizon barely visible beneath a blanket of low-hanging clouds. In the distance, you can make out the faint outline of a ridge, its dark silhouette against the lightening sky. The world feels open here, unbounded, as though the land itself invites you to move across it, to explore, to discover. The grass beneath your feet is soft, but the ground is firmer here, less damp than in the forest. It's as if the earth itself is breathing with you, its rhythm in sync with your own. The sound of distant hooves reaches your ears. The ground trembles ever so slightly beneath you, a low vibration that seems to echo through the air. You turn your head, following the sound, and there they are, a herd of mammoths, moving slowly across the plains. Their massive forms are silhouettes against the fading light, their great tusks curving upward, their trunks swaying with each ponderous step. Their thick, shaggy fur ripples in the breeze, and their enormous bodies move with an ancient, purposeful grace. You watch in awe, captivated by the sight of these giants. It's as if they belong here, as if they are part of the very fabric of this land, woven into its history and its soul. They move with a quiet determination, their massive feet leaving deep impressions in the earth as they pass. You feel the ground beneath you tremble with each step they take, the weight of their presence undeniable. The mammoths, though distant now, seem almost to beckon you forward, urging you to follow, to step deeper into their world. The sun sinks lower, casting a warm amber glow across the land. The mammoths continue their slow, deliberate march, their movements rhythmic and steady. The air grows cooler, and the shadows of the evening stretch longer, but the light remains soft and inviting. The herd moves toward a nearby waterhole, their enormous bodies casting long, dark shadows across the grass. You follow, your steps slow and quiet, blending into the landscape as you move toward them. The waterhole comes into view, a large, still pool nestled between two outcroppings of stone. The mammoths gather around it, their trunks dip into the water as they drink, their massive forms reflected in the dark surface. The sound of water, splashing gently against tusks, fills the air, mingling with the distant calls of birds settling for the night. There is a calm here, a tranquility that fills the space between the mammoths and their watchers. The world seems to slow, to hold its breath, as if time itself is taking a pause. You stand at the edge of the clearing watching them. The mammoths seem unaware of your presence, their focus on the water before them. The moment stretches, and you find yourself lost in the simple beauty of it all. The evening light, the soft rustle of the grasses, the steady rhythm of the herd drinking, all of it feels like a timeless memory, a vision of a world that has always existed and always will. You are part of it, a witness to a moment that transcends the boundaries of time. But the peace is fleeting. The wind shifts, carrying with it the scent of rain, and the mammoths raise their heads, ears flicking. There is a sudden alertness in their movements, a tension that ripples through the herd. The sound of hooves begins again, distant but steady, and the mammoths turn, their massive bodies moving with surprising speed as they prepare to move deeper into the plains. You step back quietly, your presence fading into the long grasses as the herd moves away, their massive forms disappearing into the shadows of the encroaching night. The air grows colder now, the first whispers of evening chill beginning to settle in. The last traces of light fade from the sky, leaving only the pale glow of the moon above. The world around you seems to deepen, the shadows growing longer, the sounds of the forest and the plains softening as the night takes over. You remain where you are for a while, the memory of the mammoth still vivid in your mind, their massive forms moving like shadows across the landscape. You feel the weight of their presence still, as though they have left an imprint on the earth itself, a mark that will never fade. The stars above grow brighter as the sky darkens, and you turn, making your way back toward the forest. The wind picks up, carrying with it the scent of rain. The earth beneath your feet is soft now, damp from the moisture in the air. The moonlight filters through the branches of the trees, casting long shadows on the ground, and the forest seems alive with movement. The distant sound of a brook murmurs softly, joining the symphony of night, and you follow the path back to the stone you had sat on earlier. As you settle once again on the stone, you close your eyes for a moment, letting the peace of the night settle around you. The mammoths, the sloths, the lions, they're all part of the same world, the same history, woven together in a tapestry of survival and adaptation. The giants may be gone, but their presence lingers in the land, in the air, in the earth beneath your feet. You take a deep breath, inhaling the cool night air, and exhale slowly, letting go of the weight of the day. The forest around you breathes with you, a living, pulsing entity that has witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, the passing of seasons, the growth of trees, the birth and death of animals. And through it all, humans have persisted, adapting to the changing world, finding their place in the ever-shifting landscape. The night deepens, the stars now glittering brightly above, and you know that tomorrow will bring another day, another opportunity to walk this land, to witness its quiet beauty, to learn from the giants who once walked beside you. For now, though, you rest, knowing that you are part of this ancient, timeless world, a world that continues to evolve, to grow, and to endure. And as you close your eyes, the memory of the mammoths, the sloths, the lions, and the humans who survived alongside them lingers, a reminder of the strength, the resilience, and the quiet power of the natural world. The forest, the earth, the sky, they all carry their stories, and yours too is one of survival, of adaptation, of walking with giants, even if only in memory. The night passes quietly, the air still and cool against your skin. The sound of the brook trickles gently in the distance, a soft and rhythmic melody that seems to carry through the earth itself. You lie there, eyes open, staring at the canopy above, the pale moonlight filtering through the branches. The stars, distant and ancient, glisten like shards of glass embedded in the fabric of the night sky. They seem so far away, so untouchable, yet somehow they are part of you, part of the world you walk through. For a moment the forest seems to breathe in unison with you. The gentle rustling of leaves, the soft crackling of the branches swaying in the wind, it's all part of a rhythm you have come to know so well. Time moves differently here, in this place where the echoes of ancient giants still resonate in the air, where the presence of creatures long gone lingers in the bones of the earth. The mammoths, the sloths, the lions, their spirits seem to walk beside you, silent and strong, watching as you move through the night. The coolness of the stone beneath you, the dampness of the earth, the steady pulse of your breath, they all blend together in a quiet harmony, a sense of peace that settles deep into your bones. The weight of the world, the vastness of history feels lighter now. It's as if you too are part of that ancient rhythm, a link in the long chain of survival, adaptation, and transformation. The faint rustle of the leaves grows louder, more pronounced as the wind picks up again. It sweeps through the branches, sending ripples through the undergrowth. You turn your head slightly, the soft motion of your body causing a leaf to flutter gently beside you. The night is alive, stirring with the quiet presence of nature's creatures, and you feel as though you are part of that living, breathing world. The path ahead, though unknown, stretches before you with infinite possibility. And, though the mammoths and the sloths may be gone, their legacy endures, etched into the land, into the very soil beneath your feet. Every step you take is a step through the echoes of their world, a world where giants once roamed, where the earth trembled beneath their weight, and where humans, fragile and small, survived through their wits, their resilience, and their deep connection to the land. The wind shifts again, carrying with it the scent of rain. You sit up slowly, feeling the coolness of the night air brush against your skin. The forest has quieted, as if holding its breath in anticipation. You rise from the stone, your body moving with a quiet grace, and begin walking once more. The ground beneath you is soft, but it holds firm, offering steady support as you move through the stillness of the night. The world is full of movement, yet it feels as though everything has slowed to match your pace. The trees, their branches swaying gently in the wind, seem to watch you, their leaves rustling softly as if whispering ancient secrets. The earth beneath your feet is solid and unyielding, but it is also alive, pulsing with the energy of the world around you. The air is thick with the scent of pine, of damp earth, of the wildness that still lives here. As you move deeper into the forest, you feel the weight of the past, of the giants who once walked here, pressing gently against you. It is a reminder not of their absence, but of their presence, still woven into the land, into the very bones of the earth. The mammoths, the sloths, the lions, they are gone, yes, but they are not forgotten. They live on in the trees, in the stones, in the wind that carries their memory across the land. You pause for a moment, letting the stillness of the forest wash over you. The air is cool now, the wind stronger, carrying with it the scent of rain. The sky above is a blanket of stars, the moon a pale crescent in the distance. The land stretches out before you, wild and untamed, full of the promise of discovery. You feel the weight of history in the air, but it is not a burden. It is a gift, a reminder of the resilience of life, of the ways in which the world continues to evolve, to adapt, to transform. The distant sound of water reaches your ears once more, a soft, steady trickle, like the whisper of time itself. You follow the sound, your steps light on the earth, your senses alert. The path ahead is dark, but the moonlight filters through the trees, casting long, dappled shadows on the ground. You move forward, the sound of your footsteps muffled by the soft earth beneath you. The forest is alive with movement, but it is also still, as though waiting for something. As you reach the edge of a small clearing, you stop. Before you lies a stream, its waters running clear and fast, winding through the rocks and branches that line its path. The water is cold, but the gentle current feels refreshing against your skin as you kneel down to drink. The sound of the stream is soothing, its rhythm steady and unchanging. It is a reminder that, though the world around you may shift and change, some things remain constant. The flow of water, the rise and fall of the seasons, the steady beat of life itself. You sit beside the stream for a moment, letting the coolness of the water wash over your hands, feeling the earth beneath you, the pulse of the world alive in your veins. The night is quiet now, save for the sound of the stream and the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. The forest around you feels vast, ancient, and full of possibility, and yet it feels intimately familiar, as if you have always known this place, as if it has always been a part of you. The giants may be gone, but their memory lingers here, in the flow of the water, in the rustling of the leaves, in the very earth beneath your feet. Their presence is not something that can be erased, not something that can be forgotten. It lives on in the land, in the stories told around fires, in the bones buried deep in the earth, waiting to be uncovered. You rise from the stream, your body moving with quiet determination. The path ahead is long, but you walk it without fear, without hesitation. The giants are gone, but you are here, part of this world, part of its rhythm, its cycles, its story. The forest continues to breathe around you, the wind stirring the leaves, the sound of the stream steady and constant. You walk on, your steps sure, your senses heightened, as the world stretches before you, wild and untamed. As you move deeper into the forest, the sounds of the night grow louder. The rustle of leaves, the distant call of an owl, the soft croak of frogs in the underbrush. All of these sounds blend together, creating a symphony of life that fills the air. You walk with purpose, but also with a sense of wonder, of curiosity. The world around you is full of mysteries, full of secrets waiting to be discovered. And though the giants have passed, their legacy is still here, written into the very fabric of the land. You come upon another clearing, this one larger than the last. The moonlight shines down brightly, casting long shadows across the ground. The air is cool here, and the scent of damp earth is stronger. In the centre of the clearing a large rock sits, worn smooth by time. You approach it, your footsteps light, and place your hand against its surface. The rock is cold, its texture rough beneath your fingers. It feels ancient, as though it has been here for centuries, perhaps longer. You wonder how many have touched this rock before you, how many others have sat here, looking out at the world, thinking of the giants that once roamed this land. You sit down on the rock, your body sinking slightly into its surface. The night around you is peaceful, the air cool and still. The world feels vast, but at the same time, it feels intimate, as though you are a part of it, connected to it in a way that transcends time. The giants are gone, yes, but their presence remains. Their bones lie buried in the earth, their stories whispered on the wind. They are not truly gone. They live on in the land, in the creatures that still roam here, in the memories of those who survived. The moon rises higher in the sky, its light casting long silver beams across the landscape. The stars glisten above you, distant and ancient, as though they are watching over you, keeping time with your breath, your heartbeat. The world is quiet now, the sounds of the forest softening into the night, and you too are quiet, your thoughts drifting with the wind, carried on the breeze that stirs the leaves. In this moment, everything feels connected. The land, the creatures, the stars. It is as though time itself has slowed, as if you are part of something much larger than yourself, something that stretches back to the very beginning of the world, and something that will continue long after you are gone. The giants may have vanished, but their story is far from over. It lives on in the land, in the bones of the earth, in the winds that carry their memory across the ages. The air around you stirs, warm and alive with the soft hum of the night. The world has settled into a quiet rhythm, a deep pulse that reverberates through the earth and the trees, through your bones. It feels like a world that is both timeless and fleeting, a delicate balance between what was and what is. The clearing, where the rock stands as a silent witness to the passage of time, is full of stillness, yet it hums with the history of the land. The giants may have passed, but their presence is alive in the very air, in the moss beneath your feet, in the craggy boulders scattered across the landscape, and in the distant shadows where something larger than life once roamed. You sit there, on the stone, your eyes half closed, as though listening for something just beyond your hearing. There is a certain magic in the air tonight, a quiet, secret rhythm that hums in the space between the trees. The light from the moon bathes the clearing, casting long shadows, turning everything it touches into a softer, gentler version of itself. The night holds its breath, and you feel, deep within your chest, a gentle weight, a connection to something older than time itself. You rise from the stone, your body moving fluidly, as though the forest itself is pulling you forward. Your bare feet sink into the soft earth, each step leaving a mark in the rich soil. The forest has opened up before you again, a vast and mysterious land, full of secrets that only the brave or the curious would dare to discover. Ahead, the forest gives way to another clearing, but this one feels different. There is a quality to it, something in the air that shifts the atmosphere. The moonlight, now fully risen, spills across the grass, and you feel a chill brush against your skin as the wind picks up, carrying with it the scent of rain. The clearing seems untouched, pristine in its solitude, as though it exists outside of time. The trees that border it stand like sentinels, their bark dark and worn, their branches stretching high into the night sky. The soft rustling of the leaves above fills the air, a low murmur that blends with the deeper sounds of the night. The forest, it seems, has quieted in this place, as if holding its breath in reverence. You step forward, your senses alert, as you move toward the center of the clearing. The grass beneath your feet sways in the breeze, bending and twisting with the flow of the wind. There is something familiar about this place, a sense of recognition that stirs deep within you. It is as though you've been here before, though you can't say when or how. The air feels thick with an ancient energy, as though this spot in particular holds some hidden knowledge, some forgotten story that the forest itself is waiting to share. As you approach the center, you notice a pattern etched into the ground, faint and almost imperceptible, yet unmistakable. The earth itself seems to have been shaped, as if by some unseen hand. Circular impressions line the ground, each one deep and precise, as though the soil itself was once moved by something larger than nature. You kneel to examine it, the coldness of the earth rising through your fingers. The impressions are smooth, worn with age, and seem to radiate outward in concentric rings, like the ripples left by a stone cast into still water. This is no ordinary clearing. The land here feels different, as though it has been marked by time, by ritual, by something greater than mere survival. You run your hand along the edge of one of the rings, your fingers brushing against the cool soil, and for a moment you wonder if this is a place of gathering, of ceremony, where those who once lived here came together. The thought lingers in your mind, and you can almost hear the faint echoes of ancient voices, a whisper carried on the wind. The wind picks up again, and you stand, your body moving fluidly, instinctively, as though drawn to something beyond the visible. There, just beyond the clearing's edge, the trees open into a narrow passage, a gap between the tall, dark trunks, leading deeper into the heart of the forest. You can't explain why, but you feel compelled to walk through it, as if the forest itself is calling you. You move toward it, your feet sinking into the soft earth, each step steady and purposeful. The passage is narrow, the trees thick around you, their trunks rising like ancient columns, their bark dark and weathered. The air grows cooler here, the scent of pine and damp leaves stronger. It is as though the forest is holding its breath again, the world quiet and still, save for the occasional rustle of a distant animal or the soft call of a bird overhead. The night is still, and the weight of the land presses against you, as if the very earth is aware of your presence. As you walk, the forest begins to shift. The trees seem to close in, their branches stretching overhead like a canopy, the sky above narrowing as though the passage itself is a threshold, a place between the known and the unknown. The air feels different here, as though it is thicker, more tangible. You feel it in your lungs, the sensation of breathing in something ancient, something alive with secrets. The wind whispers again, and for a fleeting moment you think you hear something, a soft rustling, the faintest stir of leaves followed by a low rumble like the sound of distant thunder. You pause, the sensation of something watching you, something unseen, prickling the back of your neck. The moment passes, and the forest returns to its steady rhythm, but there is a subtle shift in the air, a quiet sense of something ancient, something old, pressing in around you. You continue onward, drawn by an invisible force, your steps measured and sure. As you move deeper, the trees thin out again, giving way to a wider expanse of land. And there, before you, you see it, a vast open space, the ground dotted with jagged rocks and boulders, the air heavy with the scent of earth and stone. It is an open glade, larger than any you've encountered before, its centre dominated by a massive formation of stone. The rocks, worn and weathered by centuries of wind and rain, rise like the bones of the earth itself, their jagged edges casting long shadows in the pale moonlight. The glade feels ancient, its energy different from anything you've experienced. The wind stirs the air, carrying the scent of damp stone and the faintest trace of moss. The stone formation at the centre of the glade stands tall, its massive stones arranged in a rough circular pattern, as though they have been placed there for some purpose, long forgotten. The rocks are worn smooth in places, their surfaces etched with lines, markings that seem to speak of a time before. You feel the weight of history here, a deep, unspoken presence that seems to hang in the air. You approach the stones, your steps slow, deliberate. The ground beneath your feet is firm, the earth cool to the touch. You run your hand over the surface of one of the stones, the rough texture beneath your fingers a stark contrast to the smoothness of the air. The stone hums, a faint vibration that seems to pass through you, a ripple of energy that stirs the depth of your being. It is as though the stones themselves are alive, resonating with the heartbeat of the earth, carrying the weight of centuries of forgotten lives. As you stand there, your fingers resting on the cool surface, the moonlight bathes the stone in a soft ethereal glow. The world around you falls silent, the wind still, the air thick with the weight of time. You close your eyes for a moment, letting the stillness wash over you, and in that quiet you feel the presence of something ancient, not a memory of the giants that once roamed these lands, but something older still, something primal, woven into the very fabric of this place. The stones, the earth, the trees, they're all connected, part of the same unbroken cycle. The moment stretches, endless and fleeting, and you feel as though you are suspended between two worlds, the one you know and the one that once was. The giants may be gone, but their story remains etched into the land, into the very stones beneath your feet. They live on in the earth, in the trees, in the wind that whispers through the leaves. And in this place, in this moment, they are with you still, not as echoes, but as living, breathing memories. You are part of that story, a link in the chain that stretches back to a time when the giants ruled the land. You take a deep breath, the cool air filling your lungs, and exhale slowly, letting the weight of the moment settle into you. The world around you is still, quiet, but alive with the stories of those who have come before. You stand there, connected to the land, to the giants, to the earth beneath your feet, and for a moment you are part of it all. You're part of the story, and the story, though ancient, is not finished yet. It continues to unfold with every step you take, with every breath you draw. The giants may have passed, but their legacy lives on in you, in the world around you, and in the quiet, unbroken rhythm of the earth. And so you stand, watching the stones, feeling their ancient presence, and know that the journey continues, ever forward, ever onward, into the vast unknown. The past and the present are woven together in this moment, a thread stretching from the giants to you, and you to the future that awaits. The cool air continues to brush against your skin as you stand among the ancient stones, feeling their weight not just in the sense of their massive physical presence, but also in the unseen force they exude, a connection to a time long past, yet ever present. The night is deep now, the moon hanging low, a pale lantern casting its light on the land, wrapping everything in a soft, silver glow. The world around you, the land, the trees, and the stones seems to breathe slowly, methodically, as though it has always existed, untouched by time. You shift your stance, still resting your hand against the stone, and for a brief moment you feel the pulse beneath it. It's subtle, almost imperceptible. The beat of something ancient, perhaps the beating heart of the earth itself passing through you. Your senses sharpen with the contact, a quiet vibration that feels almost as though it is speaking to you, not through words, but through energy. A silent language woven through time. The air grows heavier, charged with something almost palpable, as though something is drawing near. A rustling of leaves, faint but clear, stirs your attention. You instinctively turn toward the sound, your body's rhythm now in sync with the pulse of the land. The trees around you seem to lean in closer, their branches swaying gently as if whispering secrets long forgotten. The rustling grows louder, and then the unmistakable sound of heavy footsteps, slow, deliberate, echoing through the earth, reaches your ears. Your breath stills. In the distance, through the trees, you catch a glimpse of movement. A shadow, larger than life, lumbers toward you. For a moment, your heart skips a beat. You're frozen, watching as the silhouette of something massive moves slowly from the edge of the forest, stepping into the clearing. It is a mammoth, its great shaggy form emerging from the shadows like a ghost from the past, its enormous tusks curving upward, nearly as long as the width of its body. The creature moves with the calm certainty of an ancient being that knows its place in the world as though it belongs here, as it always has. The air vibrates with its presence, and the ground trembles slightly beneath your feet with every step it takes. Its massive body sways with the rhythm of each deliberate stride, its fur rippling in the moonlight like a blanket of winter. The mammoth's eyes, dark, deep, and wise, catch the faint light, glowing with an intelligence that transcends time. You stand motionless, hardly daring to breathe, watching the mammoth approach. The air between you and the giant feels charged, filled with an energy that connects you to something far older than yourself, a living, breathing remnant of a world that once was. The mammoth stops at the edge of the stone circle, its presence filling the space with a powerful, quiet force. For a long moment, neither of you moves. It is as if the mammoth, too, senses the sacred weight of this place, the ancient energy that resides here. The wind picks up, rustling the leaves around you, and the mammoth lifts its head, its trunk extending forward, sniffing the air. The sound of its breath, deep, slow, and steady, fills the space, and for a moment, the world feels as though it has paused entirely. The only movement is the gentle swaying of the trees in the wind, their leaves whispering secrets to one another. The mammoth lowers its head and takes a slow step forward, its massive footfall sending a tremor through the ground. You feel it in your chest, the pulse of life that has endured for millennia. You remain perfectly still, barely daring to move. The creature draws closer, the weight of its presence overwhelming, as though it carries the memory of all the mammoths that have walked this land, each step a reminder of the giants that once roamed freely. With a slow, deliberate motion, the mammoth lowers its head to graze on the grass, its enormous tusks gently brushing against the earth. The sound of its movement is soft, yet powerful, as the earth beneath you seems to hum with the ancient energy of this being. You can hear the soft crunch of grass as it feeds, its trunk moving delicately through the plants, selecting its meal with careful precision. The mammoth is at home here, in this sacred space, just as the giants have always been. As you watch, the moonlight catches the mammoth's fur, casting a silver sheen over its thick coat. The shadows around the clearing stretch longer, the wind shifting in the trees, and for a moment, the entire world feels suspended, timeless. You're no longer simply a traveller in the forest, but a witness to something far greater than yourself. The giants, though gone from this world, live on in places like this, in the very bones of the earth, in the air, in the land. Time seems to stretch, and in the stillness you feel the mammoth's ancient presence beside you, its quiet strength and calm wisdom filling the space. The world of giants, of mammoths, sloths, lions, and the people who lived among them, feels alive again, as if the earth itself is remembering, calling you back to a time when everything was connected, when humans walked beside the giants, learning, surviving, adapting. The mammoth, now satisfied with its meal, lifts its head once more, its trunk swaying gently as it surveys the landscape. Its eyes lock with yours, and for a brief moment you feel the weight of that gaze, a connection that spans millennia. The mammoth steps back, its massive body moving with a surprising grace despite its size, and then, with a slow turn, it begins to retreat back into the forest, its presence fading into the shadows as if it were a ghost of the past. You stand there, your heart still racing from the encounter, but there is no fear, only awe. The mammoth is gone, its massive form swallowed by the trees, but its presence lingers in the air, in the ground beneath your feet, the earth beneath. You feels more alive now, as though it has shared its deepest secrets with you, its ancient memories now flowing through your veins. You remain still for a long time, the silence of the clearing wrapping around you, the hum of the night now more pronounced, more alive. The stone beneath your fingers feels warmer now, as though the very pulse of the land has been transferred to it. The wind stirs the leaves around you, and the trees groan softly in the breeze, as if to acknowledge the sacredness of the moment. Slowly, you turn and begin walking back toward the path, the weight of the night still pressing down on you, but now with a sense of purpose, as though the encounter has changed something within you. The trees part as you walk, the sound of your feet muted by the soft, damp earth beneath you. The forest seems to shift as you move through it, the wind picking up once again, and the leaves whispering in your ear as though carrying the story of the mammoth with them. The land has shared its memory, and now it is yours to carry. The forest, the stones, the earth, they are all part of the same great rhythm, the same unbroken cycle of life, death, and rebirth. You reach the edge of the clearing once more, the world now bathed in the cool light of the moon. The trees stand like sentinels, their shadows long and dark, their branches reaching toward the sky. The world feels vast, and yet, in this moment, it also feels incredibly intimate, as though you are the only one in the universe who understands the quiet pulse of the land. The mammoth is gone, but its spirit remains, woven into the fabric of the world. The giants too have left their mark on this place, not as fleeting memories, but as living echoes, carried through the earth, through the trees, through the stones. You're part of that legacy, a continuation of the story, moving through the landscape that once supported them. The wind picks up once more, carrying the scent of rain and earth. The forest seems to exhale, its breath slow and deep, and in that breath you feel the weight of the world, of the giants, of the earth, of the land that has always been here and always will be. The giants may have vanished, but their story is far from over. It lives on, in the bones of the earth, in the air, in the trees, in the whispers of the wind. You take another step forward, the path stretching before you. The world is vast, but in this moment it feels small, intimate, and alive. The giants, though gone, are still with you. Their story is not finished, and neither is yours. The night continues, the wind sings through the trees, and the land waits for the next chapter to unfold. The night grows deeper, and with every step you take, the air seems to thicken, growing cooler as the wind stirs the canopy above. You feel its touch on your skin, gentle, almost tender, like the land itself is guiding you forward, urging you to continue along the path that lies ahead. The shadows of the trees stretch long and deep, reaching out to embrace you, while the moon, now higher in the sky, bathes the world in a quiet, pale light. Each step you take feels more deliberate, more purposeful, as if you are no longer merely a traveller in the forest, but a part of its timeless rhythm. The earth beneath your feet is soft, yielding with each movement, but it holds firm, offering you stability, just as it has for countless generations before. The ground seems to pulse beneath you, each beat a reminder of the ancient life that once flourished here, the giants that walked, the animals that roamed, the winds that whispered through the trees, carrying with them the stories of the land. As you move deeper into the forest, the sounds around you begin to shift. The rustle of leaves, once gentle and distant, now feels closer, more intimate, as though the very fabric of the forest is alive with the stories it has yet to tell. The wind stirs the branches overhead, sending ripples through the leaves, their sound like whispers in the night. The soft croak of a distant frog, the flutter of wings from a passing bird, and the occasional snap of a twig underfoot all merge together, creating a symphony that fills the air, both soothing and mysterious. You feel as if the forest itself is speaking to you, urging you onward, guiding you through the vast expanse of land that stretches before you. It is a place of both comfort and challenge, a world where the giants once walked and where humans have learned to survive, adapt, and thrive. The forest has changed as it always does, yet it remains the same, unchanged in its ancient rhythm, its eternal pulse. As you walk, the trees begin to thin, their trunks growing smaller and more spaced apart. The underbrush gives way to tall grasses, soft and pliable in the wind, bending gently with each breeze. The scent of damp earth and pine gives way to something fresher now, the scent of wildflowers and fresh grass, mingling with the coolness of the night air. You breathe deeply, letting the earthy aroma fill your lungs, and feel the land shift beneath your feet, welcoming you into this new part of the world. The land before you is wide and open, a vast expanse of grass and wildflowers stretching all the way to the horizon. The soft glow of the moon casts long silver shadows across the field, highlighting the subtle undulations of the land, the gentle rise and fall of the earth beneath. In the distance, a line of low hills rises against the sky, trees, their dark silhouettes heavy with the weight of age by the pale moonlight. They stand together, rooted deeply in the earth, their gnarled trunks twisted and worn by the passage of ripples across the open landscape. There is something comforting about them, ocean of something that draws you in. Gold. You walk toward them, pause for a moment, your feet taking in the beauty of this across the open field, the vastness of it as you approach the trees, the wind dies down, that emanates from the land, the air growing still and quiet. This is a place where the giants once roamed. You step beneath the trees, where the mammoths and sloths and cave lions walked. Their massive forms casting shadows across the canopy above, thick enough to block out the moonlight. In their absence, the world has shifted beneath the trees in shadow and continues to thrive. The ground is softer here. The rhythm covered of life with a blanket of moss, as it always has, in cycles of birth. You take a deep breath, inhaling the fresh, earthy scent, and for a moment, you close your eyes, letting the peace of the place wash over you. In the quiet, you can hear the faintest sound of rustling, the soft movement of something large, distant yet close enough to make its presence known. The trees around you creak gently, their limbs swaying with the wind, and in the stillness you sense that this is a place where many have come before, a place where humans too have sought refuge, whether for a moment of rest or for something deeper, something sacred. The land remembers, just as you remember. The giants have passed, their footprints erased by time, but their legacy lives on in the trees, in the earth, in the air that moves through this space. You're a part of that story, a small thread woven into the larger tapestry of the land. The path you walk, though your own, is not unfamiliar. It is a path walked by those before you, by the people who survived alongside the giants, who learned the rhythms of the world, who adapted and thrived in this vast, untamed land. A sudden movement catches your eye, and you turn to see a large shadow moving among the trees. It is a deer, its sleek body gliding through the underbrush with silent grace. The creature pauses, its ears flicking as it senses your presence, and for a brief moment its gaze meets yours. Its eyes are wide, alert, and for a heartbeat you are locked in the same timeless gaze. Then, without a sound, the deer turns and melts back into the forest, its presence lingering only for a moment. You watch as the deer disappears into the trees, its movement so fluid, so instinctive, that it seems as though it is one with the land itself. The moment is brief, yet it leaves you with a deep sense of connection, a feeling that the world around you is alive, constantly shifting, constantly evolving. And you too are part of that ever-changing rhythm. The wind picks up again, rustling the leaves above, and you turn your gaze back to the horizon. The moon hangs high in the sky now, its light casting long silver beams across the land, illuminating the grass, the trees, the stones that scatter the earth. The night is deep, but full of life, full of promise. You continue on, your steps light, the path ahead unclear but full of possibility. As you walk, the landscape around you shifts again. The land rises, the gentle slope of a hill stretching before you. The grass grows taller here, the earth more uneven. You move with ease, the rhythm of your steps matching the quiet pulse of the world. The air is cooler now, the night drawing in, but there is a warmth in your chest, a quiet fire that burns within, keeping you moving forward, keeping you part of this journey. You reach the top of the hill, and from here you can see the land stretching out before you, vast, open, wild. The horizon seems endless, the sky stretching far beyond the land, the stars glittering above like distant beacons. The world feels both infinite and intimate, as though you are part of something much larger than yourself, yet also deeply connected to it. The night is alive with the hum of the earth, the steady beat of the world that has existed long before you and will continue long after you're gone. And in this moment, you're no longer just a traveller passing through. You are a part of this land, a part of its history, a part of its eternal rhythm. The giants may have passed, but their story lives on in you, in the earth beneath your feet, in the wind that brushes against your skin. You're connected to this place, to the land, to the ancient creatures that once roamed here. And as you stand at the top of the hill, gazing out at the vast untamed world before you, you feel that connection deep within your soul. The wind picks up again, carrying with it the scent of earth and rain. The night is full of movement, full of life, and you too move forward, following the path that stretches before you. The journey is long and the world is vast, but you're not alone. You walk in the footsteps of those who have come before, in the shadow of giants, in the rhythm of the earth itself. And as you take your next step, you know that the story continues. It continues in you, in the land, in the wind, in the stars above, and it will continue ever onward into the unknown. The land before you seems endless, yet it pulses with a quiet invitation, urging you onward. The cool night air wraps around you, and with each step the world around you shifts, imperceptible at first, but steadily becoming more apparent. The earth beneath your feet feels different here, firmer, more grounded, as if it too is aware of the change. The soft grass sways in the wind, its tips brushing against your legs like whispers from a forgotten time. The scent of wild flowers mixes with the dampness of the soil, an earthy perfume that fills the air with the promise of life. The moon is a pale sentinel above, casting long silver beams across the landscape, illuminating the world in soft, muted light. The shadows of the trees stretch long, their gnarled branches swaying with the rhythm of the wind. The world feels alive, yet untouched, as though it has been waiting for you, just as the land always waits, patient, enduring, ever present. In the distance, the sound of a distant animal call breaks the stillness. It is a low, mournful cry, echoing through the night, and it stirs something deep within you. The call of the wild, of a creature that has lived here longer than memory. A reminder that the giants who once roamed this land still have their echoes in the earth. You pause for a moment, listening, and then continue on, the wind now at your back, urging you forward. You move through the open field with ease, your steps fluid, carried by the steady rhythm of your own breath. The vastness of the landscape is both humbling and freeing, and you feel a strange sense of connection to it all. The grass beneath your feet, the air that brushes against your skin, the distant hills rising against the sky, they're all part of the same story, a story that has been unfolding long before you arrived and will continue long after you're gone. As you reach the edge of the field, the terrain begins to change again. The ground rises gently, the grass is giving way to a mix of rocks and earth, the path now winding through a series of small hills. The air is cooler here, the scent of pine and damp stone filling your lungs. You walk with purpose, your feet sure on the uneven ground, moving instinctively through the landscape. The moonlight plays across the jagged rocks, casting long, deep shadows, and you feel the world shift once more. Ahead, the rocks begin to form a natural arch, a passageway through the land, like a gateway to another world. The space beneath the arch is cool and quiet, the air thick with the scent of earth and moss. You step through, feeling the weight of the moment, as though crossing into a place where the past and present merge, where the land holds secrets waiting to be uncovered. The path beyond is narrow, the rocks on either side rising steeply, but the way forward is clear, beckoning you onward. As you move through the narrow passage, the sounds of the outside world begin to fade, replaced by the soft rustle of your footsteps on the ground. The air is thick here, heavy with the scent of moss and earth, the coolness of the space wrapping around you like a cloak. The stones beneath your feet are smooth, worn by centuries of wind and rain, and as you reach out to touch them, you feel the pulse of the land, ancient and steady. The passage narrows even further, the rocks on either side seeming to close in, but you continue, your steps sure and steady. There is something about this place, something that feels sacred, as though it has been waiting for you to find it. The further you walk, the deeper you feel the weight of time pressing in around you, as though the very stones themselves are alive with the memory of the giants who once walked these lands. You can almost hear the echoes of their footsteps, the faintest whisper of their presence in the air. Suddenly, the passage opens up into a vast cavern, its walls carved from the rock itself, the air cool and heavy with the scent of stone. The ceiling stretches high above you, lost in shadow, while the ground beneath is uneven, scattered with rocks and debris. The cavern is empty, save for the faintest glimmer of light coming from somewhere deep within, casting long shadows across the space. You pause for a moment, your eyes adjusting to the dim light, and then step forward, your heart pounding in your chest. The cavern seems to pulse with an energy all its own, a strange ancient power that seems to fill the space. The stones beneath your feet are rough, jagged, yet steady, and with every step you take, the feeling of being watched intensifies. The air is thick with the weight of something unseen, something ancient that lies buried deep within the earth. You move cautiously, your senses alert, every sound amplified in the stillness. The faint drip of water from somewhere far off, the soft scrape of your boots against the stone floor. As you move deeper into the cavern, the light grows stronger, and you find yourself drawn toward it, as if it is calling you. The walls of the cavern begin to shift, the stone becoming smoother, more refined, as though it has been shaped by human hands. The passage narrows again, the air growing warmer, the ground beneath your feet now polished, as though the cavern was once a place of ritual, a place of significance to those who came before. You reach the source of the light, and your breath catches in your throat. Before you, carved into the stone, is a massive symbol, a circle, intricate and detailed, its edges lined with delicate carvings that seem to tell a story of their own. The symbol is alive, pulsing with an energy that seems to vibrate through the very air, its presence both ancient and timeless. The stone around it seems to shimmer, the carvings glowing faintly in the dim light. You reach out to touch it, and as your fingers make contact with the cool surface, a jolt of energy runs through you, sharp and sudden. The cavern seems to shift, the air thickening around you as the symbol comes alive, its energy crackling like electricity. The carvings begin to move, shifting and changing before your eyes, telling a story that seems both familiar and foreign. You can almost hear the whispers of those who carved them, the ancient voices that once filled this place with the echoes of their lives. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the power of the cavern, of the symbol washing over you. And in that moment, you feel a deep connection to the land, to the giants, to the ancient ones who once walked this earth. The moment passes, and as you open your eyes, the symbol seems to settle, its energy fading, leaving only the faintest trace of light in its wake. You stand there for a moment, your heart racing, feeling the weight of what you've just witnessed. The cavern is still, the air cool and calm once again, but the presence of the symbol lingers, its story etched into the very stone of the land. You take a deep breath, steadying yourself, and step back from the symbol, your mind racing with questions. The cavern is quiet now, its energy faded, but you know that what you've just experienced is not the end, but merely another chapter in the story of the giants, of the land, of the world that once was. The path forward remains uncertain, but the way is clear. The giants may have gone, but their story continues, their legacy etched into the very earth beneath your feet. You turn and begin to retrace your steps, the cavern's quiet energy still buzzing in your chest. The air seems to shift as you move, the stone walls closing in once again, guiding you back through the narrow passage. The sounds of your footsteps echo in the stillness, each one a reminder of the journey you've taken, of the world you've uncovered. The cavern, the symbol, the energy, it all feels connected, part of a greater story that stretches back through the ages, one that you're now a part of. The passage widens again, and as you step back into the open, the world outside feels different, as though the very air has changed. The moon hangs high above, its light brighter now, casting long shadows across the land. The wind stirs once more, carrying with it the scent of pine, of earth, of rain, and of something else, something ancient and familiar. You feel it in your bones, a whisper that seems to come from deep within the earth, from the heart of the land itself. The giants may be gone, but their legacy lives on. As you continue walking through the land, the pace of your steps slows. The soft rustling of the leaves and the distant calls of the night seem to soften with each breath. The moon, high above, bathes everything in its silvery light, gently guiding your path, casting long, soft shadows on the ground. The world, once vast and filled with the energy of discovery, now feels close and intimate, wrapping around you like a warm blanket. The forest feels quieter now, more still, as if the night is settling into a peaceful rhythm. You feel the earth beneath you, solid and unchanging, offering its quiet support. Every step you take feels easier, lighter, the tension of the journey slipping away with the movement of your feet. The cool night air brushes gently against your skin, and the scent of pine and damp earth fills your lungs, grounding you in the quiet embrace of the land. The trees around you sway softly, their branches whispering with the wind. The air seems to carry a soothing melody, the rustle of leaves, the faint hum of distant insects, all blending together into a lullaby. The rhythm of the forest becomes your own, slow and steady, like the beating of a heart. Every breath is deep and calming, filling you with a peaceful energy, a deep connection to this place, to the world around you. You begin to feel the weight of the day, the journey, the world itself gently lifting. Your thoughts become softer, more distant, as if they are floating away like autumn leaves caught in a breeze. The quiet of the night seeps into you, settling deep in your bones. There is no need to hurry, no urgency to move forward. The path ahead is calm, but it is not demanding, not pushing you to take the next step. Instead, it invites you to stay, to rest, to drift with the flow of time. The landscape around you, once so vibrant and full of life, begins to blur gently at the edges. The lines between the trees, the sky, the earth, all soften, as though the world itself is beginning to fold into something simpler, something quieter. The moon's glow seems to wrap itself around you, a soft, protective light that guides you gently, step by step, into the embrace of sleep. Your steps become slower still, your movements more languid, as if you are drifting, as though the world is holding you in a quiet, peaceful embrace. The air is so still now, the breeze barely a whisper, as though the earth itself is holding its breath. The trees stand like silent sentinels, their dark shapes fading into the distance, their branches swaying softly in the moonlight. The ground beneath you feels more comforting now, its coolness welcoming, its texture familiar. You're not alone here. The giants that once roamed this world are no longer present in form, but their memory lingers in the space around you, woven into the very fabric of the land. They're a part of you, just as you are a part of them, and together you belong to this ancient rhythm that pulses through the earth. With each breath you feel yourself sinking deeper into the stillness, the quiet. Your body relaxes, your shoulders ease, the tension in your muscles melting away